Say what?
Hello and welcome back. It's time for Say What, where we hear from those connected to the industry about what's going on in our world of electrical apprenticeship. And this includes topics that you've suggested, so please keep them coming. I am your host, Cindy Sanderfur, joined by Todd Stafford, the Executive Director here at the Electrical Training Alliance. And today, for this last episode of 2022, we just decided we're going to take some time to reflect. So no special guests. You're stuck with just Todd and I. What are some highlights from the year? When you think back over 2022, what are some things that stand out to you?
Well, we finally started getting back together in our meetings scheduled again. The regular meeting schedules attended, which was great to see everyone again. And we're a big promoter, pusher of online development of training. I get it's what we do, but at the same time, the relationships built face-to-face mean something as well. And we don't want to take away the benefits we get one area of work by the technology we create in the other. And showing this year just proves that more and more, how we try to build that model. And advancement of technology, advancement of our curriculum and training, the outstanding work we do here, it just amazes me all the way around, every time I look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to think, like, when I was thinking about this question, I'm like, January 2022 feels like a world away. Like sometimes I'm like, was that this year or was that last year? But it was the first time, I think, that things have felt, and I'm using normal in quotes, more normal since everything that happened in 2020. So I felt like you said, this year kind of had some aspect of getting back to, and that in person.
Yeah, back to normal meant me, the 200 nights in the hotel room and canceled flights and delays. Yeah, it's back to normal this year.
Right. Yeah. And just for a side note, I got a reputation about that somehow I caused travel woes and flight delays. But I promise you this year, knocking on wood, that has not been the case for me, but several of you have had really bad runs. So I have passed the baton of bad travel luck to someone else. So that's my highlight
somewhere
from the year.
At American Airlines, they made a tie between your name and Electric Training Alliance and my name because it still holds.
Maybe you just should, just don't travel on the same airline as me, and maybe you'll be okay. But you mentioned the in-person, and that's kind of one of the things I was thinking about. Is I feel like the thing we've done over the past couple of years is grow together, right? People have realized the importance of unity and working together and collaborating, and now you're getting back to the in-person, and so just being able to be at NTI, this year. I mean, we really go back to we were able to do our seminars in person again, have NTI in person, and then I got to attend the IBW Women's Conference in person, and that was just, whew. And then the NECA show in person, and I know they did in person last year as well, but back at bigger, better, so being with our industry parents, to have those moments, and then
it's amazing. We see that is a highlight for me the past year. I remember that because it's been 2 years of delay to get there. I mean, no matter how you thought about it, how you felt about it, it was different for the last 2 years. And picking up this year makes it back to normal.
It's felt really good. So, is there anything when you think back, anything you've learned this year, about yourself, about the industry, about who we are?
Well, I got too many things about myself to learn to go into. About our industry and what we do in our industry and what we develop, specifically what the Electrical Training Alliance is for, we're on the right path. If nothing else, the troubles that our JHCs went through, programs, area-wide programs went through, preparing apprentices during the pandemic, times came up where you couldn't meet face-to-face, the implementation of technology made it possible. And so we're on the right path for that way alone, but also because of the benefits of what we're doing, because it proved it works. We have feedback now about the method of we're training and developing curriculum to deliver. It works, and it works in a way which better prepares an individual for training, which is what our goal is.
Right. Yeah, I think for me, learning, change is happening. It's going to happen. It's here as much as I fight against it. Going from being able to wear pajamas all the time. Not that I did that, but if I did during, stay at home and things like that, it was comfy. And then it's like, oh, we got to get back out. And so sometimes that can feel, wow, I haven't been in big settings. And that's just one example. But I think recognizing how important change is something that I learned this year is sometimes you've got to initiate it. Sometimes you just got to roll with it. But it is something that's,
excuse me. We always fight against change. We always do. But change is a necessary part of life. That's what it is. I mean, you're not going to succeed. You're not going to grow unless you do something different. That's change, is what it means. And no matter where you're at today, you can stay at that same pathway, even stay the same level of growth potential you have today, you have to change, maintain constant. I mean, it's always changed, that's stated. We may not like the magnitude of change sometimes, and that's what we're asking a lot of programs to do. And I understand it's a big change we're asking programs to start implementing at their local areas where they are. And it's a saying I always talk about as far as change, is that change does not always mean progress. It never does. But progress always means change. You have to have some type of method to move forward. And understanding as we adapt and change our delivery method of curriculum, and the goal is still to make every apprentice be just as important as the next apprentice. By that I'm talking about each apprentice should receive the best opportunity for training and success as anyone else. And how do you do that? You standardize that method. You find the best DC theory trainer in the country, let that person deliver the training. Whether it's through the development of the computer-mediated learning, lecture-based training, development, instructional design, all that plays a part. And as we make that accessible to every apprentice, their educational content, theory, those stuff around that improves. We'll take care of the training from there when they're better educated.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned a lot about the industry. What we're proud of, what we're building in the industry, that's part of it, what we're doing.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, like you mentioned pride, like what are you most proud of from 2022?
It's educating the level of the apprentice to be trained. We don't do training directly. It's not what we do directly. We create the tools so local program, area-wide programs can do that. Even in implementation of computer-mediated learning, that's a delivery source. We're not taking away the instructor's time. We're trying to free up the time for that instructor in that classroom to be able to deliver exactly what we ask for them to do. How to build skills, how to teach skills. That's what we do. That's why we provide curricula for the instructor to be able to use that curriculum to be able to teach an apprentice or a journey level worker or others to come into play how to use that curriculum training so we can deliver that material in a way that elevates the skill sets of that apprentice, the skill sets. That's what we do. I mean, we're all technicians, we're journey level workers, we're masters in what crafts, whatever the chosen field we use in IBEW. And as we increase and train in that field, we're trying to convey that knowledge to somebody else. That's a skill. Now, do I have to know AC theory before I can learn about motors and capacitors and transformers? Yes. But that's an educational content. We get out of the way. Now let's free up some time for technical training. I'm very proud to be able to get our training programs, that's what we call ourselves, area-wide training centers, local training centers. Well, let's get to training. Let's take care of the content necessary before we get to training and get it out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think right along with that, as in order to do that, I think there needs to be connection, right, between us and those that are delivering this, the JTCs and AJTCs that are a part of it. And that's one of the things I think I've been most proud of this year is the connections I feel like that have happened. We do TD Connect, which I feel like has really changed. The whole point of that was for the training directors to get whatever they need out of it. Really, it was always about that. And so I've noticed that the past couple, they've really had great interactions. We jump in when needed. We can answer questions that they have, but just really they're supporting each other. Right. And that's been one thing that I've loved to see. And then I think the other is this work that we're doing with the IBW and NECA. We have this joint task force for diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And that has just been fantastic to see all the organizations coming together. Everybody's passionate about it, coming with their ideas. And again, everything is about what's best, right? How do we make this industry better? And just seeing that work, how it's transpired over this year has been, I don't know.
That'll always be an impact on the industry, and it should be, and rightfully so, because our industry is changing. We're becoming more diverse. Well, let's address it head on. Let's talk about the issues come into play about why we have a bad history in some cases. In some cases we don't, whether it's good or bad, or let's talk about it and discuss it. That's how we can improve. That's what we're here for. And if it benefits the apprentice, is what I've always said, we're going to do it. And that benefits all apprentices in our program, which is why we participate.
Yeah. And even when, when the day comes that we don't feel like we need this work, so to speak, we always need the work because we always want to make sure that everyone is a part of us, so it's like that part of the work never goes away. So this has been our first full year for Say What. We had 2 episodes in 2021 in November and December. I think that's right. But, being this entire year, like what are you enjoying most about doing the podcast?
The different people we get to meet and talk to that's involved in our industry, whether it's from the outside with Helmets to Hard Hats, Martin Helms, or different groups we walk, the ones we have upcoming, seminars upcoming. I'm encouraged about different groups. We work within IBW that are not part of the IBW, want to work with us to make our industry better and theirs is better. That excites me. See a lot of things we can do different. And as we continue to make those unique relationships, and you said it earlier about the best thing about relationship building, again, we're doing is exactly right. As we grow that relationships capability, we're going to grow our industry in ways that not directly related to apprenticeship, but yet it is about apprenticeship. Same concept.
Yeah, that right. It's these people that we get to talk with and meet, and it's not, we think about, okay, we deal in curriculum, we deal in these certain things, but to expand that out, we talked to the Cassandra Banks Foundation, this year, and I was like, man, we talked with some phenomenal female training directors for Women's History Month. And then we, had some chats with our staff. And then, as you pointed out, like Martin Helms and just again, these great moments. And as you also said, 2023, we're going to be chatting with the EWMC and Jobs with Justice. And we're going to talk about mental health and just, so there's all these things. We're going to, hopefully kind of talk about apprenticeship, like what is apprenticeship, the structure, and grab some IBW NECA leadership and bring in and, so just being able to touch on so many different things that maybe we wouldn't talk about or really have a forum to talk about it and fit it in to something.
It's not necessarily one of our key objectives, and you think about it in the beginning about have a podcast to talk about industry in general, but yet it does affect our apprenticeship program. It does help the health, mental wellness of our apprentices when we talk about it, discuss it. That's why we do it. Help.
Yeah, so that's been, and it's been cool hearing like the feedback from the listeners, just being able to, pop some AirPods or headphones in and, they may be, going on a walk or just doing some work and, finding this interesting just to get to know each other and people. So that's been really, really cool. So
you keep it interesting. You just keep doing what you're doing there and it works great. Thank you.
Yeah, we won't. Interesting. When Todd chooses that word, he's talking about often the off mic, off camera stuff that's interesting, but
she thinks it's off camera, maybe not.
Yeah, we won't talk about the blooper reels that I've heard exist out there somewhere. So if my singing gets out, I apologize to everyone. But so here we are wrapping up the year. Is there any kind of season greetings, send off you want to say to our listeners?
No, just tell everyone thanks. Tell everyone thank you. Thank you for trusting us to develop, deliver, and support the local efforts and area-wide efforts that work for our apprenticeship and all of our programs, whether inside, outside, telecommunication, residential, it doesn't matter. Just thank you for helping us support you because we can't succeed without their success. Whatever their beliefs are, I wish them the best. But for me, it's always a Merry Christmas side. Happy New Year comes out and play. But at the same time, say thanks to all the local programs because they're what makes us succeed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as we close out, to me, like that's one of the biggest things I want to do is what you just did is to ensure that the listeners know how much we appreciate you. Like we really do. It's our pleasure, our privilege to serve our industry in so many different ways. And that means serving you. And we do this for you. We're here for you. And this podcast is just one of many avenues. But we've been excited and thrilled to do it. We're going to keep doing it until you say, we don't need it, right? And if we don't need it, if it's not enjoyable, then we'll find something else that works. But help us to keep Say What centered on what you want. Really, like we don't want to just be coming up with stuff and sharing it and you thinking, why are they even talking about this? Like if you have ideas, don't hesitate to reach out. Let us know this is what we want you to cover. I think I could come on and really help, with this or that. Like let us know, send us an email, and that will be to saywhat, SAYWATT, at electricaltrainingalliance.org. Seriously though, this is totally about you. Our next episode will drop in the new year, in January, and we're going to kick it off by talking about what's in store for 2023. Until then, stay connected with us through our newsletters, blog posts, catch us on social media. Of course, subscribe to the podcast so you know when a new episode comes out. Stay powered up, and we will see you next time. Happy holidays, everyone.
Say what?